have representatives from shops, from offices, from a number of professional services. And it's the first time that these objectors have met up to discuss what they want to do, with the general consensus here being that they choose not to pay their bid bill. So they've all voted on that and decided that's what action they're going to take going forward. Now, just some background to put all of this into a little bit more context. The project at first was set to cover Main Street, but it later covered surrounding areas, including Casemate Square, Chatham Counterguard, up to Town Range. Now, a lot of people feel like they weren't made aware of that significant change. The bid was voted into law in October last year. Now, about 292 votes were cast, and of that, 65% voted yes for the bid to go ahead. But in fact, the turnout was fairly low, with about 1,175 that were eligible to vote in total. So half of those here today claim that they were never actually communicated with about the vote itself. Some believe the bid will have no impact on their businesses, so why should they pay that amount? Well, I'm joined now by Jordan Ferro of Bullion and Bisham Nihchalani of Trends Retail Group. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. So your first meeting, and already quite some developments. Some of the terms we've heard mentioned today are, undemocratic, a lack of transparency, which are quite some big terms. So why do you as a group feel that way?
Well, for starters, I'm here representing the Casemate Arcade. We were a small minority. We thought we were the only people that actually weren't in favor of the bid. And as things went along, we realized that, as you can see by the turnout today, we're actually a big majority who have opposed this now passed legislation. We feel that the bill was passed in a rush, and the fact that none of the elected members were elected democratically, and the fact that there's very little benefit that's been outlined for the businesses here today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why exactly do you feel like the bid won't benefit your businesses?
That's a good question. So there's been a lack of transparency in terms of what they're actually going to achieve for the businesses here today. That's a thing that people have an issue with. And secondly, for a marketing business to have such a low turnout in the voting process, there's obviously been a lack of communication. So right from the start, we've seen a level of unprofessionalism in the delivery of the bid in itself.
Now, Bisham, let's just bring you in. Now, you were quite strongly against the bid from the beginning, and you've quite openly told us that you voted no for it. Yeah. Now, a lot of people will be asking themselves, we've heard about the bid for a number of years now, why not vote against it when you had the chance? Why a year later are people now saying they don't want to do it when it already has been put in law after they had the opportunity to vote?
I think Jordan answered that question. I think not everyone was informed about it. Remember, the bid started off as Main Street bid. They did not get the traction they wanted. They had a big objection there. What did they do? COVID happened, and after that they involved a whole lot of other businesses, offices on the second, third floor to get through that vote. For me, we have a very, very busy high street, a very busy Main Street, That is not the problem. The problem comes down to the offering that we had on Main Street. And that will change during time. You'll have businesses that will fold, businesses that will retire, and new blood will come in. And then only can you attract more people. By having flowers or sending flyers out to hotels in Malaga, that will not do anything. For me, that's been my point of view since day one.
Well, so before we go, you've taken the decision tonight that you're collectively not going to pay those bills you've received, those first bills for bid. What's the plan going forward for this new Objectors group?
Hopefully we set up a committee today, get legal advice, and then take it further. You can see, in the space of 48 hours, we've gathered 400 votes already. That shows that this is not, they don't want this to take place. They don't want this to go forward. And you've seen quite a few emotional words come out from a lot of businesses that are struggling. Because a lot of them are struggling. A lot of the side streets that can't make they're struggling with their bills as it is. We've had increases in wages, increases in taxes.
So is it more a case that maybe change their minds, now things are harder?
Probably, and there's businesses that were not informed, and they've just been put into it. I know for a fact a lot of the ballots were sent to landlords But the bills are being sent to the tenants now.
And the change of name didn't help either, Bisham.
Yeah, and like I said, I think, look, the bid has one aim, and that is a low turnout and to get it over. And that's what they achieved for this one. And they've actually put in a whole lot of people at the end to get that.